on the Oregon coast, and I put some stickers up in one town.
So when it comes to large-scale mural cover-ups, make sure that you are always consulting a director for something like that, or you are consulting me. It is something, generally as the activism becomes higher in risk or scale, the more you need to...
Hey, Jack. Do you mind if Frederick and I and Leo, sleep on your floor on Thursday night?
Thursday night, is that the night before we leave?
Yes, that's the night before we leave.
That's fine by me. I've got a couple cots, although one of them broke already, so I've got 2 cots.
You know my beliefs towards sleeping on the floor. I love the floor, so anybody else can always have the cots.
Well, the floor loves you.
Yes,
and
it
yeah,
does.
You're definitely welcome to come by.
Thank you.
You're probably going to meet an ex-member. He's going to be watching my house for a little while. The former Aaron Washington.
Ooh.
He's a good dude. He'll be watching my house while we're at the demo. Did John tell you? I got broken into twice in 1 week.
Holy shit.
Last week. Oh, yeah.
I thought your area was pretty good. Damn.
I didn't hear it was twice. I heard it was at least once.
It was twice. Once I caught this homeless guy in my laundry room. He was down on his luck, like 25, on drugs, had my laundry basket full of my shit when I caught him. And I was like, dude, not cool. I'm sorry. That whole thing. I showed him where the Salvation Army was. He told me he left his phone in my laundry room. And I was like, listen, man, if I find your phone, I'll leave it at the Salvation Army. I did find his phone, dropped it off there. 2 nights go by. I get a knock on my door in the middle of the night. It's him again, apologizing for breaking and entering, but also wanted to know if I had his phone. I told him I dropped it off at the Salvation Army. The next night, I'm out of town. I'm at a friend's wedding, and my tenant calls me. Sure enough, somebody was trying to break in that night, too. This time, though, they had tools. They tried to bust the lock and doorknob off my back door.
What the fuck?
I had to get a new door, get new locks. Yep. She caught him running away with a flashlight, ski mask, and all black clothing. So they were trying to bust in here. So I had to take the last couple days and up my security a little bit. I got more stuff in the works, but yeah.
You gotta go full Home Alone style now, man.
I just watched that movie and I was like, I should be taking notes.
Did you watch the remake or the the originals? Okay, good.
Yeah, that one.
There's a remake?
Apparently, my boss was telling me about it today.
No, I have not seen those.
Well, you guys ready to get rolling?
I'm gonna call Leo Oregon on Telegram. Be right back.
Okay. Who are we missing out of Network 8? Paul, we're missing Paul Washington.
Is that someone new? I've never heard of Paul.
Yeah, you just joined. But, I don't know, probably better because of the need-to-know principle since he's obviously not going to the event that he's not here. There we go.
Clocks are rolling into the meeting of some heavy machinery, it sounds like.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just walking past my coworker, and I still had on the continuous transmission from yesterday.
That's just the noise you make when you move around, Clark. We all know it.
Yeah, I'm just picking up right now. Who all are we still waiting for?
Alexander's calling. Leo, I guess we could just get started with like the debrief, even if they're not here. What, Vincent? You went down to Oregon, right?
Indeed, yep. I went down with Clark. We went down to help Leo interview someone who ended up no-showing. I don't know if we've heard back from that guy since. Went down there to interview, didn't end up having that happen, so we went and stickered and dropped the banner.
No posters?
No posters. We had out. We had that head out because it was going to be late.
Where did you guys drop the banner?
I don't know the address.
It was Highway 26, eastbound, or westbound rather.
Is that little tunnel spot or something?
No,
I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that was the tunnel spot. It was eastbound into Portland.
Oh, okay, cool. Went well. Nothing could have went better on it.
The zips were crap. That could have gone better. But aside from that.
Cool. I don't know, Vincent, you want to talk about postering, or I could? It's up to you.
Yeah, sure. Postering I thought went pretty well. It went well for half of it. We decided to go postering, I think on Friday night, was it? Was it only Friday?
Yeah.
We had 8 utility boxes that we were targeting in 2 locations because if you didn't know, a post for any large event like this, if it's stencils or whatever, you need to do 4 4 pictures, or in this case for utility for postering, you want to get 4 posters up, and that is a post. So we had 4 boxes picked out in West Seattle and 4 picked out in White Center. The West Seattle ones went through pretty easily. I've done postering before, so my goal is to, I guess, teach other people who are coming along with me, and Ethan came along. It went smoothly. Got posters up in 4 locations. And then we moved on to White Center, where things weren't as smooth. We went to our first box, sprayed some weed paste on it, and immediately the King County sheriffs rolled in on us. I saw them at the intersection, called us off. We started walking down the street. By that point, the sheriff had already seen us, and whoever they were, they came down and tried to cut us off at the alley, but we ended up fainting them out pretty easily and got away. Made it back to the vehicle, made it out safe, and decided not to stick around there because the number 1 rule of not being caught, and we made it out. But for the West Seattle posters, we managed to cover up some artwork of Angela Davis, who is a noted Black Marxist. We covered that one up with a Better Than Red poster. So that was our victory of the night. I think that'll be a pretty good post. In White Center, we were aiming to cover up a George Floyd utility box. Didn't end up getting there since the cops rolled in on us. But I will say that it's already been covered up a couple of times. People have been spray painting over it, but hopefully we'll get that in the future.
Right on. What do you think could have gone better? How could we have avoided what happened? with the sheriff's deputy?
Yeah, I think I was talking to John a little bit about this. We have to be careful because anywhere where we're in Seattle, if we look too much like Antifa, the cops will pay attention to that. Situational awareness will always help, and I think if we had more people, 3 is kind of the perfect number for that. You have 2 people who can do the postering and 1 person documenting. It's kind of hard to watch if you don't have as many people doing the postering. That said, you might bring more attention. I think over time we'll get better at doing this with speed, and that'll help. Although in this case, they rolled up on us like right at the beginning, right as we were putting on the first layer of paste. So yeah, that's about it as much as I can think of. Like just keeping our eyes open, recognizing police cars a little bit earlier, and maybe having a third person so that we share the effort of postering a little bit more, and then we can also have the extra person watching out.
Yeah, maybe almost. Sorry. Was someone saying something? I thought I heard something. Yeah, maybe almost a 4th person. I don't know. Like you said, maybe that'll draw too much attention. But because, I mean, yeah, ideally, I guess 2 doing it, 1 documenting, then maybe kind of a lookout. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know. I've only ever done it with 2 people. I think last time I did was me and John. So I don't know. Like I feel like 3 is the perfect number. 4 might be good. It depends.
3 is like the most you ever really want to do in my experience with a poster, just because you can have 1 dedicated camera guy getting the whole, like, you know, you putting up the adhesive and then putting up the poster and then adhesing the poster. But you 2 is also extremely doable. It's just like everything's contextual. Like it's all about like where you're at, what kind of like what the entire operation is going to look like. Like if you're covering something up, that extra guy who's doing the camera work can't always double out as a lookout. Like, oh hey Vincent, there's a cop car down that street, just so you know, or whatever. So it's never bad to bring a third guy, but 4 is a bit too much. Because 4 will always attract attention. You know, 4 bigger, fit-looking white guys is always going to, people always look at them because they're not used to seeing large groups of white men.
I also can personally feel that if we have like 4 or 5 guys, we might as well just like do banner drops or something other than.
Yeah, if you're gonna do
like
4 or 5
smaller
guys,
activism.
you guys should be covering up like a mural or something. Posters are kind of like, you know, that's like a 2 to 3 person activity.
We might have been doing it a little early for the area as well, just because it's pretty close to Seattle, and we were doing these between 10 and midnight. So I think maybe doing that a little later into the morning might help. But that's not always.
Yeah. Bigger cities, you kind of want to do them like you were covering up some fun stuff. So you want to do those a little later in the night. Again, like, yeah, it all just depends on like what the area looks like. You know, when you're covering something up, always scout it out before and then right before.
Yeah, and I think it basically just came down to bad timing because it was, a couple seconds into it, like I literally just started spraying the bottle and then you're like, cop.
Yeah.
Right on. Is that all the big actions that went on, the banner drop in Portland and postering? Anything else?
In regards to that banner drop, I believe that should put us at the 10 that John wants us to get per month. So I believe we did hit 10 this month, at least.
Yep, right on. I guess we'll move on to fitness. Is everyone in the green on everything, or is anybody not in the green on everything?
I'm not in the green in pull-ups.
But Brandon, California, and I were talking about that, and he gave me some good suggestions. So I'll be trying those out.
Do pull-ups every day.
I'm not in the green on planking or pull-ups, but I'm working on it.
Right on. Yeah, the notes, John wrote, he said everyone needs to be in the green by December 4th. I mean, obviously, we're not going to get twice as strong overnight. So, yeah, I guess just keep working on it, whatever. It is what it is. But maybe by the next event, that could be a good goal for us to all be in the green. Because I'm short on push-ups, too. So you guys aren't the only ones.
Yeah, I'm like right there on the what do you call it? Like the edge of the push-ups and the plank. I'm like almost in the green, and pull-ups I'm in the green, but kind of hesitantly. Like 3 is really difficult, but I can do it.
If you guys want to get better at pull-ups or push-ups, you should be doing them every day. Just like do 100 push-ups a day, but don't wear yourself out. Just drop into 10. And the goal should be to do 100 every single day. Never wear yourself out, and then you'll get better at them. And same with pull-ups. If you can only do 3, just put a bar up somewhere, and every time you walk under it, just do 1 perfect pull-up. Try to do like 15 every single day. And it adds up over the week, and that really is how you get better at those exercises in a short amount of time.
That's a real good idea. I think I'll definitely take your advice on that one.
It's easy, man. Just if you're struggling with push-ups, just bang out 5 or 10 at a time. Work up to 100 a day. I mean, that's 700 push-ups in 1 week. You will get better very quickly. Same with pull-ups. All you can do is 3, just do 1 and walk away, and then come back an hour later and do 1 and end up doing 10 a day. In that 70 week, it really adds up. Your nervous system gets really efficient.
I'll start on the night. Thank you.
Right on. And then, does anybody want to do anything? It says activity for next week. I don't know.
I'm going to be working right up until the demo, or when we have to catch our flight. So unless anyone wants to do something down kind of where I'm at, real late at night or early in the morning, I'm kind of booked.
Yeah, I don't know. I took Thursday off as well, so I'm off Thursday, Friday. So I don't know. Maybe if someone else is not busy, we could just throw up a quick banner or something. But if not, I don't think it's a big deal. Obviously, the demo is more important. And then moving on down the list, does everyone have their uniform put together? Does anybody not have their uniform put together that's going? All right, so everyone's got it. And have you guys all looked at the packing list? Like the event-specific packing list?
Yes.
Yeah, I should have everything all packed up and ready to go by Thursday.
Okay, right on. Yeah, I'm sure everyone's seen all that a couple times. So, and then Christmas dinner. Yeah, I know we were talking about an Airbnb. Do you guys still want to do that? Like, do you guys actually want to put up money on that? Because Tyler, you can chime in here. As far as I understand it, basically John gave you some money and otherwise you paid for it yourself out of pocket? I don't know if you were planning on doing that.
Well, I did the last one. John said he was doing this one. So I gave him suggestions for Airbnb, and I don't know. He hasn't talked to me about if he's booked anything or not. Problem is, like I said, he said he was taking lead on it. We might not be able to get an Airbnb that we want this late. I mean, everything gets booked up at this time.
Yeah. I was looking at them because I guess he was telling me about getting them, but I was looking, and after like tax and all the fees and everything for like 2 nights, we were basically looking at like $700. So I was going to bring that up, like if, I don't know, because I don't know, I guess I'm not as generous as Tyler. Thank you, bro, for putting up that other one. I just didn't want to get stuck with like a $700 bill.
I mean, yeah, again, John said he was taking the lead on it, so otherwise I would have booked something already, but and the other thing is I don't know where everyone wants to travel because the biggest and cheapest Airbnbs are up north. There was another one right there where we did the last one that was could accommodate like 11 people. But I don't know if that's even available anymore. We just have to see what John has figured out, if anything.
Yeah, no, yeah. We don't expect you to get the next one too. I was just, I don't know. I guess I was just looking at him and he was wanting me to book it, but I was just thinking like, if, you know, people don't want to put up like $60 or whatever, and I don't really want to pay for it all myself. So I guess we'll just talk about that or something, or we'll figure it out. I mean, me and John, maybe he wants to put up a little bigger. Maybe if we split it or something, or somebody else wants to message me or John. And
I mean, I can definitely put down a few $100. That's not an issue. Just got to figure out where it is, because I guess it's between your wife and my girlfriend too to figure out a grocery list and do all the cooking as well, and that adds up.
Right. Yeah, I was looking at like Puyallup was like 700 for accommodates 8. I don't know if it's still available. I'm sure it is. There was a couple good ones like that kind of in that area. But I don't know. I don't think you should really put up. I mean, if you really want to, maybe. But, yeah, we'll just talk about that later. We'll figure that out. So, I don't know. We're still looking at probably doing something on December 18th. Maybe we could just get a reservation at, like, a restaurant. Like, my wife was talking, like, Anthony's out there in Gig Harbor. Like, that'd probably be cheaper for everyone to just eat a meal, like, cooked for us than to, like, rent an Airbnb. I know it's nice to kind of have our own spot and do the whole holiday event, but I don't know. Just an idea.
I don't know about, is that in Kitsap County? Because they might require vaccination.
I believe it's still Pierce County in Gig Harbor. But yeah, obviously we got to avoid King County. And what, Kitsap you can't eat indoors anymore?
I'm not sure if it's Kitsap as well. I just know that's a really liberal county, so it wouldn't really surprise me if they followed the same as King County.
Right on. Yeah, I guess that we'll just figure that deal out. The main concern is this next weekend, so what does this say? Does everyone know, like, where they're parking or who they're meeting up with and carpooling, or should we start discussing that?
I am not sure.
I have going on.
You know what you got going on? What are you doing exactly, Clark?
Because I get off work at about midnight on Thursday, I was just gonna head up and meet up with John like early in the morning, I suppose. Or I was gonna head to some sort of meetup point, just kind of take a nap.
So John and I were talking earlier in this meeting when he was available, and from what I understand, our plan is that we're all going to meet up at the same location. Everyone who can fit inside of his vehicle and my vehicle. And we're going to put all of the luggage in the back of his truck. We're going to put 5 people in his truck, and we're going to put 5 people in my car, and then we will all drive to the airport, which means that we would have to get there at around 5 o'clock, I think, in order to make it to the airport at 6, which would put us 2 hours ahead of the flight.
Do you know who's riding with you?
I do not.
Probably everybody else, because, Alexander, Frederick, have you guys talked to John? I think he said you guys were going to meet him and ride with him.
I mean, me and Frederick and Leo will be driving up to Jack's, and from there, going to a destination.
So that's 4 of us.
Yeah.
My car should be able to fit all 4 of us and our luggage. It'll be okay. It'll be a little tight, but we can do it.
Hey, a tight space next to Jack was is a great time. That's all I'm saying.
Ha! I'll take it. So yeah, that's 4 of us. So, and if all of us are going in 2 vehicles, is that what you were saying, Vincent?
Yeah, that's my understanding, is that we were all going to meet up where John has decided his meetup point would be. We would all meet up with him in his truck and then settle into our 2 vehicles and go.
Well, the issue is we have 11 people. We were trying to find some way to get the 11th man there. Because we have, Jack, isn't Marshall supposed to be carpooling with you too?
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I was talking to him not too long ago. Good call on that one. Yeah, I gotta reach out.
Yeah, I think, are we, is there somebody here who's getting a ride elsewhere, like Ethan? Is that a thing that's happening for?
Yeah, who's closest to the airport?
Yeah, I was thinking, if it's feasible, maybe I could just hop in your trunk or 4-pile in your back seat. It's up to you if you're comfortable with that. Otherwise, or we could just tentatively plan for that. But then if it's too much of a pain in the ass, just let me know maybe, and I'll just take an Uber that morning.
Yeah, my vehicle's pretty small. I'm worried about getting, I guess the luggage issue is solved. I was talking to John about that. I was like, I'm worried about everyone's luggage, but we're not going to have it in my car, so that's fine. Yeah, I think if we can fit all the big people in John's truck, then we could try squeezing a few people in mine. I don't mind riding with an extra person in the back if we can squeeze 4 people back there.
Yeah, put someone on someone's lap.
Yeah, I'm not 50.
John. It's John.
I don't know, whoever weighs the least. Stick someone in a trunk. Ethan was talking about that.
Yeah, it might almost be more comfortable to have somebody's bag on their lap than a guy on their lap, and I could just take up that space in the trunk. Like I said, I'm not really picky. Where exactly are you parking? Do you know? Are you parking on International Boulevard or one of those other lots or what?
The place is called SeaTac Park. I'm not really sure where it's at. It is just really close, right by the ramp to get on the airport. You could Google it. I don't really know where it's at.
You said it's called SeaTac Park?
Yeah, SeaTac Park. That's the business name. Yeah, it's on 200th Street.
That's where we're going to be leaving the rest of the vehicles, or is that where we're getting out?
That's where I'm parking my truck, and then we take a little bus that takes us to the airport.
Got it.
Once I get home here in a half hour, I will send everyone the action plan. But long story short, it's going to be Maple Valley at 5 a.m. Does that sound reasonable, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then everyone, once we're there, all you guys can load up all your luggage into my truck. And then we just need 2 vehicles to transport guys. now, we just head straight to SeaTac Park. And I don't think airport security is going to take very long at all, considering it's not even a holiday weekend. It'll be really early on Friday, so I think we'll be fine. 5 a.m. and have everyone ready to head to the airport no later than 5:15. So, for all you Oregon boys, speaking of which, where's Leo at?
He told me he was busy with family and couldn't attend.
Sure. I'm gonna message him right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking at that spot. That parking lot is like less than 5 minutes from your house, so I don't know. Maybe Vincent, if you just want to scoop me at my place, want to really be out of the way.
Yeah, if I could just drop people off and then come and pick you up and then park the car, that sounds good.
There you
Yeah,
go.
maybe that'll be easier, really.
So what are you saying? He does that before he drives down to Maple Valley?
No, after it.
Okay, so he would have to, like, immediately at 5 and then drop us, or...
Yeah, maybe if you guys are waiting for the last couple people to show up or whatever, I mean, they'll just hop with you, and then maybe Vincent, when he's got 5 people ready to go,
I'd say just... Oh, when he has all 5 people, then just come get you.
Or like he was saying, like, you're saying meet at 5 o'clock, so if somebody's like 5 minutes late or whatever, maybe you just wait on them and Vincent just heads to the parking lot, drops off his load, and then just comes right over to my house, and I'll just run and hop in his car with all my shit, and we'll go back to the parking lot, probably meet about the same time or something.
Okay, but this is a fenced-in parking lot. You can't just drive in and drive out. Like, they make you check in and check out, and it's, like, a big deal.
It shouldn't be too bad.
I think Ethan, your best bet is probably taking an Uber to the airport and then meeting us at the airport.
Well, if he just drops people off at the passenger drop-off, instead of going through the parking section and turn around and grab Ethan, he can just go back and park.
Right, but at the park and ride thing, or not the park and ride, at SeaTac Park, they offer a shuttle service, and they'll give it to everybody that's in the vehicle. I don't think they're going to offer it if I say, oh, hey, those guys outside the fence, those are my friends. Can we grab them? I don't think they're going to do that.
I can drop people right off at the airport and then pick Ethan up and drop off, and then we can go to the parking lot.
Yeah, that works. Yeah. Yeah, do that. And, just drop everyone off. And then the airport's just a big circle anyways. It'll take you right back to SeaTac Park. And then, just you and Ethan will get on the shuttle. And then, yeah, that works. Anyone have anything to say about this plan? No objections?
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate. So everybody's meeting at Maple Valley at 5 o'clock.
Yes, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I got, unless you got something, John, or anybody else has something to add.
Not really.
John, did you get the Airbnb?
Ethan, do that?
No, we were discussing that before you popped in. I was saying how I didn't want to get stuck with the bill like Tyler, so we would have to discuss funding because we're looking at like $700 for tax and everything. And I'll pay a good amount, but I don't want to pay $700, so I have to get, some other people that are firm that'll give at least pay something towards it.
Okay.
I'm not even spending the night. I'm going to be there whatever for an evening. So.
Right. But yeah, that same one that you and I were looking at in where was it, Puyallup? I thought that was suitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can help out with throwing down on it. I get paid on Tuesday. But if anyone can help out sooner, that'd be better. And if all y'all could throw Tyler, how many of us is there? Throw him $40-$50 for that Airbnb, that would go a long ways.
No, don't worry about the last one. That was my present to all you guys who are going to do the demo because I can't. So don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, anyhow, if one of y'all want to Venmo Ethan some cash to throw down on this Airbnb for our Christmas meetup for December 18th, that'd be cool. And think about gifts that you guys want to get. We will be playing a game of White Elephant. If you're not familiar with White Elephant, everyone brings a gift, and there's no name tags on the gift, and we juggle them up, and guys get to go pick a present. They draw from a hat, they go pick a present, and then and if you don't like your gift, you can always trade it with someone else. And I think that'd be cool.
What is the price limit? Like, what's the price goal range, I suppose?
I'd say $0 to $100. It doesn't have to be something super crazy.
Yeah, maybe under 50 or something. I don't know.
I was thinking like 15 to 30, just so no one feels like they got picked up.
I don't even remember the last time I played White Elephant. I think that's how it goes. They number all the presents and then you do a raffle and a hat, right?
Say that again?
I said I haven't played White Elephant in years. Is that how you do it? You just write down numbers for each present and put it in a hat, and then people draw the hat?
There's that where you can do like a game or something when whoever wins the first round gets to choose the first one and so on. There's,
that'd be cool.
The method of choosing who goes first is kind of
we could play Bloody Knuckles.
As long as the prints are unmarked, that's a White Elephant.
I don't know. Think of some fun games or something we could play, or some movies or whatever.
Wiffle ball.
Wiffle ball.
What's the name of this place? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know. Ethan has a link to it. Ask him. I'm driving.
Yeah, I can shoot you the link. I don't think it has a name specifically.
It didn't look too expensive though. Honestly, it was cheaper than the last one. Had just as much room. Mark, did you update the spreadsheet and post it in the network channel?
Sorry, can you hear us speaking with a coworker?
You update the spreadsheet and post it in the network channel?
Yeah, I can do that.
Cool.
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, that's what tripped me up too. And then I started thinking about how much it costs. Cause yeah, when I was checking out, then I saw the house rules. It said no sponsored events. This includes anniversary parties, birthday parties, reunions, and any event where more than 6 people are invited. So they sound kind of gay.
That is kind of gay. You should ask them, I don't know.
Oh yeah, and then I found another one, but they wanted either a $5,000 damage deposit or you had to pay like $100 for insurance.
The fuck?
Yeah, fucking gay.
Tyler handled the last one pretty well. He told them that we're, I don't know, Mormons or something. What was your excuse, Tyler? Not even here. Love that. Talking to myself. That's pretty lame. No birthday parties or events or stuff. What the fuck? That's the whole point of an Airbnb. Is either to get laid or host an event. That's it for dates or events. Not really a good business seller there, but
I can
I think
I
we
can
have
drop you
more
right off
than
at the airport,
Airbnbs
and
than
then
we have.
meet up and drop off, and then we can go to the parking lot.
yeah, I think I might convince my dad to make his place an Airbnb just cause he can make. I was looking at some of the killer money these people are making. They're all booked up, and I'm like, dude, these people are making their mortgages times 10 every month, especially during the Christmas months, the holiday season. I was astounded. I think my dad should just up and go buy another house and just make this one an Airbnb. But my dad's going deer hunting. I might be able to convince him to take his wife with him, and we can have my place. I'll try to ask, but no guarantees there. Keep looking for a decent Airbnb.
Yeah, that's almost what I was thinking too, is maybe I could just get my mom to come over here and watch the boy, and then we could just use her house or something. Because mine, I don't know, maybe if it was just in network, we could do mine because it's small, dude. My house is hella small, so I would just want network 8 basically to come. And nobody's sleep over, obviously, because nobody's driving that far.
Did the Idaho guys pop into this meeting?
Just Walter.
Okay. Fine.
I think he popped out anyway.
Yeah, he left.
Well,
We don't want to go to Vashon Island, do we?
Not really. It is a cool island. One time I did a job there. We were installing a septic system, and there was a baby deer in the way. And so I scooped up the baby deer, and my boss took the photo of me holding the deer, and then I moved it to a safer location. And then at lunch, when we turned the machines off and stuff, the mommy deer came and collected her baby. It's kind of cute. I got to hold me a little baby deer. We got a photo of me doing it too.
I don't
That's
know.
definitely Libtard Island, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
I want to collect a bunch of signs. There you go.
What is it? It says, I don't know. Just because it would be cool. It's on the water and shit. It's 1,100 square feet.
That sounds cool.
What's the total price? $618, and then I think you add tax on top of that to $618. So it's about the same as the other ones.
You also
Two
factor in
parking
taking the
spots.
ferry.
Yeah, we'd have to fucking pile into 2 cars and take the ferry. That's kind of a pain in the ass, especially people coming from far away.
Yeah, not super convenient. It sounds really cool, but
Right.
I don't think guys are going to like doing that too much. Well, anyhow, I think Ethan and I can figure this out, and I think we can conclude this Mumble meeting, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyone got any questions, comments, concerns, or ideas?
I can throw in like $60 or $80 for an Airbnb if we figure out which one we want.
Okay. Anyone else? Questions, comments, concerns, or ideas? Nope. All right. I now conclude this meeting. I myself am going to stay on Mumble and be available for the next hour or so if you guys wanna bullshit. But if y'all want to go to bed, go to bed. We will see you Friday. Go over the gear list twice. Make sure you got everything. Don't be that guy who has to ask another guy for his, pair of socks or gosh. Don't be that guy. Have everything. Bring headlamp if you want. All right. Good.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, you guys have a good one, guys. It was fun.
Good night, everyone.
Hey, Ethan, when I get paid Tuesday, I can definitely throw down some monies as well. Probably, I would say $200. And then, yeah. 200.
You said 200?
Yeah, I can throw down 200.
I get paid next week. I can help out next week.
She'll get paid back. I wouldn't worry about it. With Tyler's Airbnb, we didn't request that everyone paid him back, and he also declined, so. We got enough money. I wouldn't worry about it. Not going to get stuck with the bill. And if you do get stuck with the bill, I'll pay it out of my personal pocket. And then it'll be my debt. And I will be the debt collector. I will be the Jew. I will charge everyone 14% interest rate. Why? Because I love capitalism. Money, money, money. You ever seen the screenshots of my messages? Yeah. Have you seen the screenshots that Ryan, Pennsylvania took of me? One was in general chat where I said, capitalism is Jewish. And then in a DM, I was talking money with someone, and I said, I am a staunch capitalist. And now they constantly spam like those two screenshots and, together.
I still think that we need to. The better John Wah meme is John Wah is calling. That's just the better one, man.
We're not going to repeat that story, okay?
I'm not repeating it. I'm not repeating it.
It was a private story.
I'm just saying that that's just a good screenshot, okay?
Fuck. I just want to go home. I'm so glad I got the day off tomorrow. I haven't slept I slept 8 hours all weekend because I've been hunting, and it's been rough. And we had tons of whitetail come on the bait, but God, dude, whitetail are so skittish. They just run away at the slight of hearing or seeing anything. Yeah. And there was one that he went behind a tree, and I immediately got in ready position. As soon as he popped his fucking head out, I let the arrow fly, and it I should have waited for a clearer shot, but we kept doing that, and that kept fucking us. But the arrow hit a branch. The arrow exploded. It snapped in half and it bent in another area. And it went right over the deer. The deer ran off, and he started coughing and wheezing and started making some, like, alarm call to alert, like, the rest of the herd that there's danger. And he was pissed. He was just blowing hot air out of his nose for, like, 4 minutes and then started doing this, like, annoying call. I've never heard a deer do that before, but my dad said that's normal. And I was like, I think maybe I hit him. And he's like, nah, you just pissed him off. Scared him. So close. And we had this big monster whitetail buck, dude, come on the bait right when I was like, Dad, I'm really tired. I'm going to take a nap. I take off the trigger release and the bow and I hand it to my dad. And this fucker comes in on our bait right at that moment. Right just out of nowhere. I was so fucking pissed. And so I get the trigger release on. I get the bow ready and I'm ready to draw back. And then my dad says that we need to move the ground blind window and open it a little further. I'm like, no, we don't. I got this. And he's like, oh, you need to open it. The second he touches that fucking thing, it spooks the deer and it runs off. I was so mad. That was the record-setting fucking, like, 8x8 point big-ass deer. I was so mad.
Dude, in Oregon, you can hunt spikes.
Yeah, you can do that here, too.
Oh, I didn't know that Washington had the same. But it's like, it's pretty new here. I've been thinking about just getting my tags. I miss going out there.
If I took a nap just 1 minute sooner, my dad would have smoked that thing probably.
Yeah.
But I don't know why he wanted to move the window just an extra inch. As long as I had the inch enough to like see the sight on the bow and the arrow, like it's fine. It was a 30-yard shot. I could have smoked him, no issue. It's like, fuck, come on, Dad. Oh, well. He probably, no, he would have called me and told me, but probably going to smoke something next weekend while I'm at the event. And he's going to be like, you totally missed out on hunting. You should have been there. And I'm like, yeah, we totally missed out on, like, the biggest white supremacist march ever. By the way, I got in a huge argument with him, 4 a.m., going up the mountain in the dark, second day of hunting, about racial politics. And I just snapped. I was like, I don't give a fuck about these non-whites. Fuck these niggers. Fuck these chinks. I'm tired of them coming here and using our goddamn system. They can go to hell. And just kind of started off this huge debate. And my dad's like, well, this has been a nation of all nations. You need to lose that mindset. I'm like, no.
Nation of all nations. We were 90% white when your father was probably a kid.
Yeah, I told him that. I was like, hey, what happened to before, Trump president and you voted for Obama, that you and Grandma always said we need to get rid of all these Mexicans. We need to deport them all. He's like, yeah, you don't know how bad it was. I'm like, okay, well, that's racist. I want to send all these people back for their skin color. I agree. They come here and they want to be American. They exploit our system. And he was like, well, that's fucked up. And I'm like, when we started talking about the Indians, he's like, this isn't white man land. This is native land. And I said, no, it's not. It wasn't stolen. It was conquered. They lost. That's how every other nation was born. Fuck that. I don't care. And he's like, wow, that way of thinking needs to change. You need to think differently. You can't just have a whole group of people just come in and just fuck shit up like that. I'm like, yes, you can. They lost. Boo-hoo. All these reservations and extra rights you always bitch they get about? No other country has done that to any people that they conquered. They get to live like kings. You know what they do? They sit around and drink. Fuck them. They drink and they poach.
Yes. Sell cigarettes and shit.
The fucking best, the most amazing thing about the whole, like, oh, we totally genocided the natives argument or whatever the hell, like, libcucks use nowadays is they attacked us every single time. White dudes just wanted to peaceably live. The Seminole in Florida, the first Seminole War, we were like, okay, you guys can stay here in Florida. Please stop raping and killing our people. And then what happened? they did it again. Until eventually we're like, okay, just go somewhere else, away, please. Like, it's just every time, every conflict we've ever had with the prairie niggers is just them being niggers. Hey, John, you're cutting out. No. Nowhere can contain any of our patriotism. You must be burning at the heart. Every moment of every day.
Fuck, Telegram can hardly even contain it.
Oh, base. You just sent me the paragraph.
What do you guys think about Gig Harbor on the water?
What?
You said on Gig Harbor?
No, if we did Vashon, like we were talking about parking with Vashon, I mean, we will probably want to ferry over with lesser vehicles anyways, so that would have been fine with me too. But Gig Harbor sounds good.
Yeah, I think Vashon's out. I mean, if it was just like Network 8, we could do it, but if people from Oregon and Idaho are coming, I think that's just too much of a headache.
I don't know if Frederick's coming. I can't. I can't go to the
Right.
Christmas stuff.
Leo, is he supposed to go, though?
That's a question that should be directed at Leo. I have my own personal opinions on whether or not. But I don't know if he'll be able to make it.
You're thinking probably not?
Leaning towards he probably won't, but honestly, I don't know.
Fair enough. What about Frederick? What would you say? Probably not, in your opinion?
He will try. He'll at least try. He was gonna go to the Thanksgiving thing, but his rig just like had a massive problem, and so he wasn't able to go.
The Idaho guys might. Idaho guys wanted to come. I know that they're gonna get fucked because of weather. Probably just Seattle Olympia guys. Well, Charles is outside, like banging on the window, like, let me in. That guy, you know, he's just seating. He wants to come back. You know it.
Oh, dude.
What about Paul Washington? Is he invited?
I don't know if he fucking does anything with us.
You think he's at least got to meet up, sticker some shit first?
Well, of course, yeah. That's just for security purposes. You know, want to really vet someone. I don't know, dude. If he grows some balls, he sent me a whole lot of words, and all he could have replied was, "I'm too much of a pussy to put up stickers. Sorry, bye." All he had to say.
What the? How? How can you fucking be afraid of stickers?
Dude, he said, this is a quote. He said, "I don't know, man. I'm just really worried that, like, I'm going to go out doing this, and I'm going to get kidnapped."
So he's on the other side of the water from us, so he would have had to take a ferry. I think he was worried that we were going to kidnap him, like one of us, because he doesn't really know us very well. Sorry, that was
walls and walls and walls of schizophrenic hosting, you know? Guy, you need to just get up and just fly.
look into it. And then probably introduce them.
Fuck on. Oh, did he pop out?
Yeah, he's probably in that bad area on the road.
I'm going to jump off the call with the last thing. I think I told Ethan this, but the other thing, feel free to let John know this thought as well. Just imagine if Paul had come up postering with us and had to run away from the cops.
Oh my god.
How much worse
I mean, you know, with timing, bro, we wouldn't have been in that same spot, so.
I think that's a good idea.
But I know, imagine if he
Paul
actually
was
came,
there,
dude,
he would have saved you.
But, what do you think, Vincent, before you pop out? You think it's a good idea to try to entice him and say, maybe I'll ask John too before I send it to him, but just say, like, we're having a Christmas dinner, a little low-key event, you know, if you meet up with Clark and do some stickering, we need you to, like, actually make contact, though, before you go. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad idea, but I wouldn't obviously give him any details or anything.
I think that's a good idea. If you invite guys to social events, like I just met a White Lives Matter guy. I occasionally interact with those folks. And it was purely a social thing. We met at like a undisclosed location to pop open a few brewskis. But after that, you know, put up I think he put up some White Lives Matter stickers. But yeah, you got to kind of entice guys who've never really interacted with other activists or just people who share our convictions in person. It's easier to do that through a social setting. That's why, like, pool parties are super popular, the TRS pool parties and active clubs, because it's mostly social.
Right, yeah. I guess I'll ask him. I just thought it would be, like, a good way for him to, I don't know, kind of get over it a little bit and kind of see that, like, we all do it. It's not a big deal. Kind of talk to people more about it. And I don't know. Maybe
I mean, I think a lot of us who weren't activists before PF, putting up stickers is like your whole world for a while. And then you get out of that stupid little habit mentality. You know, then it's all about, posters, stencils, banner drops, hiking, especially since you guys have a whole bunch of guys, you know. Eventually he'll get over that or he'll leave. But stickering's like his whole world, and then he's just schizo posting. Like, I was kind of nervous for a little while, being basically by myself. But you get over it. Especially with, like, good guys who are near you, who can help you and talk to you about stuff. It's just about, like, super reaching out to these people.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really super relate. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Like I was telling Vincent, like I joined, and then 2 weeks later I had to go on a all weekend, like, camping trip and pick up 3 guys from California at the airport when all I had ever done before that was have my interview. Like,
oh, dude, I didn't know you were that brand new. Holy crap.
I would get up that morning, bro, and it's like, oh, can you pick up these guys at the airport? I know you've only met 2 guys in masks. Yeah, I think I told those guys when I picked them up, I was like, you're the first guys I've seen without, like, masks on, dude. All I've done is the interview.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I think we are relative grandpas of Network 8 with our older crew. I think we're probably just more used to, you know, dealing with ambiguity and dealing with that stress a little bit better, too. Is another part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm farther along because you can kind of get in that rep, bro. You graduate high school and you're 22 and you just, like, maybe lived at your fucking parents, dude, and, like, I don't know, you just still, like, say, like, oh, I'm going out tonight. Is that okay? I'm going to meet these guys. And maybe that was weirding him out, too. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to say to my parents that I'm going to be gone for a few hours. I never hang out with anybody. I don't know. But yeah, I guess maybe I have more life experience. I used to do kind of sketchy, stupid shit, so it's like I've ran away from the cops doing like fireworks and dumb crap when I was a kid, so it's not really as like scary to me.
Yeah, I feel, man.
And this shit is like, I mean, unless you're doing like
what we do is so safe. What we do is so safe that it's boring. Most people are bored doing stickers. You know? I think that's just a testament to how good everything that we do is.
Yeah, posters were chill. It's funny though. One time I do posters, we run from the cops, so it was pretty exciting. But yeah, the only thing that really got me like kind of nervous was like the mural cover up. But that was smooth.
Dude, that was fun. It's so much fun doing that.
Yeah, the only lame part was staying up hell late. I mean, it did get to be pretty long and then driving home, but I mean, fuck it. That's how you gotta do it, so that's just part of the business.
Yep. Welcome to Patriot Front. We're mobile racists. Racism at the go.
Long hours and lots of driving.
Yeah.
And instead of getting paid, you reach
We get paid in knowing our country is better, one sticker at a time.
Yeah, we pay it forward to the next generation.
Exactly. Never forget.
Well, shit, I guess I'm going to pop off. I don't know. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, you guys have a good night.
Yeah, me too. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right.
See you next week.
Oh, yeah.